My name is Matt Wessel, and I used to build these. But ultimately, a lapse in federal wind subsidies led to a decline in construction, and therefore, my services were no longer needed. I became unemployed. I became free. This is a story of one man, an unemployed travel addict. Needing only 9 more states to get all 50, I decided to ditch my apartment and hit the road. My roommate Yurt would be joining me on this adventure. Unable to find a new home, Yurt decided to move on from the Midwest. He'd co-pilot the journey and I'd drop him off at the end in New Orleans, his childhood home. Speeding across the Midwest, we arrived at Vermont, state number 42. After mowing down fresh Ben & Jerry's, we rolled to New Hampshire, Maine, and Rhode Island, cruising through the White Mountains along the way. With only 5 states left, we pushed on to New York City, our previous home. As day turned to night, Yurt and I took the city by storm. Hungover, we pushed on to D.C., where we too had a dream to drive with the top down. Sometimes dreams do come true. After a stop in North Carolina, we sped on through the South, collecting states 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. Bam! Alas, we arrived in New Orleans, Yurt's old and future home. Yurt couldn't wait to dive into the alligator-free pond spot of on Park and search for ladies. I miss that little guy, but can't wait until Mardi Gras 2014. Next stop, my 5th continent, South America, in the countries of Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. It's mountain climbing time. Over 3 months, I'd climbed 8 different mountains, 5 of which exceeded 5,700 meters, and I'd hike over 500 kilometers in the process. All this in preparation for my upcoming climb of North America's tallest mountain, Denali. My mountain travels would take me to some of the most beautiful places in Ecuador, past water-filled calderas, the scree slopes of an active volcano, and to Earth's closest point to the sun, the top of the 6,268-meter Chimborazo volcano, Ecuador's highest mountain. From there, the journey continued on to Peru as I hiked for days by myself in the magnificent Cordillera Blanca range. Here, amazing glaciated peaks surrounded my every step, and although solitude is what I sought, I managed to make friends along the way. My bud bully even became the camp bouncer. After summiting mountain number 6, it was time to experience Peruvian and Incan culture. Basking in the glory of Machu Picchu, devouring a guinea pig, and living with the locals on a Lake Titicaca island. My mountain exploits would continue as I pushed on to Bolivia. After summiting the 6,088-meter Huayna Potosi, I attempted to slay Illimani, the massive 6,438-meter mountain which towers over the Bolivian capital. Unfortunately, I was unable to tame this beast. A snowstorm 2 days prior pummeled the mountain, blanketing it with shin to knee-deep snow. Avalanche danger and exhaustion derailed our attempt at 6,100 meters. This was my first ever mountain failure, but ultimately became my 2nd highest point after Chimborazo. Besides towering mountains, Bolivia has much more to offer, but travel throughout the country can be complex. Shoddy buses and the many political demonstrations may slow or even halt travel to your desired destination. But it's always worth the effort. Slot canyons and cactus in South Bolivia give way to volcanoes, geysers, flamingos, and salt. Lots of salt. From there, take a break and get hammered with the locals. Then push on to the jungle, and if you got time, put on your Santa suit and jump from a La Paz building. From one mountain area to another, it's time for Denali. Climbing Denali requires a lot of gear, and sometimes you can't fit everything in your bag. In order to climb the 20,320-foot Denali, our team flew to the base camp and landed on a glacier. The flight alone was worth the price of admission. Great weather allowed our team to advance quickly up the mountain. However, we'd spend plenty of time relaxing and eating. And with eating came pooping. As we gained elevation, the snow got harder and travel became easier. Pushing on past the 11,000-foot camp, we got our first glimpse of the Denali granite. Over the last 56 million years, the granite was thrusted up by the massive Denali Fault, thus creating North America's tallest mountain. Marching on, the corner named Windy Corner lived up to its name, and upon arriving at the 14,000-foot camp, we'd occupy our time by building snow forts. The real challenge began after 14,000 feet. The steep face known as the head wall led to an exposed ridge, which led us past the landmark known as Washburn's Thumb. Upon reaching the 17,000-foot high camp, it was time for our summit day.
Alright, today's the day. It's the big day to go up to the high one, Denali.
Unfortunately, a successful summit attempt was not in our future. Record high temperatures across the state produced multiple thunderstorms, one of which engulfed our team 200 feet from Denali summit at 20,100 feet. The air filled with electricity as lightning struck around us. Our metal equipment began conducting the charges within the air and sent shocks down our spines. We were forced to retreat into unpleasant and dangerous whiteout conditions, but this reality was better than the electrical disaster we left behind. The experience proved to be too much, and our team left Denali 200 feet short of a summit. However, it's all good, because I can't wait to return for that last 200. But now, it's time to celebrate being alive.